Okay, yes, we are recording now. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the video, and like I said, I will pause it when we need to. And just a quick reminder, our first two questions are, what are the rules of the challenge? And who are the worst people when it comes to having uh-oh or failure moments, and why?
Spaghetti, 1 yard of tape, 1 yard of string, and a marshmallow. The marshmallow has to be on top. And though it seems really simple, it's actually pretty hard because it forces people to collaborate very quickly. And so I thought this was an interesting idea, and I incorporated it into a design workshop, and it was.
Okay, so we can even look at the transcript. And here it says, and though it seems really simple, and it has the idea, teams of 4 have to build the tallest freestanding structure out of 20 sticks of spaghetti, 1 yard of tape, 1 yard of string, and a marshmallow. So we right here, that's what he said. Let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen or no? So. Share. Okay, now we can see it. So yeah, we have the rules. And here we go again. Here it is in the transcript part. So the spaghetti, tape, string, and a marshmallow. So those are the rules. So that's helping us answer question number 1. So let's anticipate number 2, the worst people at doing this challenge.
Was a huge success. And since then, I've conducted about 70 design workshops across the world with students and designers and architects, even the CTOs of the Fortune 50. And there's something about this exercise that reveals very deep lessons about the nature of collaboration, and I'd like to share some of them with you. So,
and do we know what collaboration means? Okay, let's see. Try it again. Jose, can you talk now? Well, if your microphone's not working, you can always put something in the chat like you just did. Okay, I see. Technology. Well, Jose, can you put your question or your answer in the chat then? So do we all know what collaboration means? Yeah, so working with other people. And normally when we are working with other people, we do want to have a goal. So in this case, their goal is to create that structure out of the spaghetti and the tape and the string. But sometimes working with other people means that you're working on a project for school, or maybe you're helping your family clean the house, or even right now, working together, collaborating to have class across, a far distance. So that's another good example of collaboration.
So normally, most people begin by orienting themselves to the task. They talk about it, they figure out what it's going to look like.
Let's see what the question is.
They jockey for power, then they spend time planning, organizing, they sketch in, they lay out spaghetti. They spend the majority of their time assembling the sticks into ever-growing structures. And then finally, just as they're running out of time, someone takes out the marshmallow, and then they gingerly put it on top, and they stand back, and ta-da! They admire their work. But what really happens most of the time is that the ta-da turns into an uh-oh, because the weight of the marshmallow causes the entire structure to buckle and to collapse. So there are a number of people who have a lot more uh-oh moments than others. And among the worst are recent graduates of business school.
Okay, so who are the worst performers with this challenge? Yes, exactly. So the students. And so this particular kind of student, they're saying that they're business school graduates. So these are people who went to university and they went to business school. So usually they have a goal of you're going to either create a business or build a team or make money. So here's what he has to say.
They lie, they cheat, they get distracted,
Of course, being silly there, but.
And they produce really lame structures. And of course, there's teams that have a lot more.
So here we're saying that adults, so they're probably going to be about 18 to 25 years old versus this next group of people.
Structures. And among the best are recent graduates of kindergarten. And
so we said that kindergartners are about 4 to 5 years old, and we have proof and evidence of their successful structures. And the other ones, not so much, because they did not have any success, or obviously their collaboration wasn't successful.
It's pretty amazing, as Peter tells us. Not only do they produce the tallest structures, but they're the most interesting structures of them all. So the question you want to ask is, how come? Why? What is it about them? And Peter likes to say that none of the kids spend any time trying to be CEO of Spaghetti Inc., right? They don't spend time jockeying for power. But there's another reason as well.
So what he's saying there is that nobody is having a competition with each other, trying to be the one on top, that they're working together and they're trying. So they don't spend a lot of time trying to say, I'm in charge, I'm in charge, I'm in charge. They say, you know what, let's just do. Let's practice, let's try. And obviously they end up being a little bit more successful.
And the reason is that business students are trained to find the single right plan. Right? And then they execute on it. And then what happens is when they put the marshmallow on top, they run out of time. And what happens? It's a crisis.
So he's saying that the adults, that they have one path in their minds. They're going to follow that path all the way to the end. But because this challenge has a time limit, they don't end up finishing or having a successful result. But
sound familiar, right? Okay. What kindergartners do differently is that they start with the marshmallow and they build prototypes, successive prototypes, always keeping the marshmallow on top. So they have multiple times to fix in the.
So the kindergartners give themselves the opportunity to try and fail, to try and fail. And that method seems to be working pretty well for them. In the chat, nope. Okay, continue.
Build prototypes along the way. Recognize this type of collaboration as the essence of the iterative process. And with each version, kids get instant feedback about what works and what doesn't work. So the capacity to play and prototype is really essential. But let's look at how different teams perform. So the average for most people is around 20 inches. Business school students, about half of that. There's a little better, but not much better than that. Kindergarten's better than most adults. Who does the very best? Architects and engineers, thankfully. And
so I usually have a lot of students in my class who maybe want to be engineers, and architecture is a little bit in that similar family there. And you do know that triangles are the strongest structure that we have to build with. So maybe those teams already have that information, so they start at triangles. Whereas, you know, the regular person, maybe they're going to try and build a pyramid or just go straight up and maybe make like a table out of the spaghetti and go up. That's another way that a lot of people will go around and to find their own way into the problem.
39 inches is the tallest structure I've seen. And why is it? Because they understand triangles and reinforcing geometrical patterns are the key to building self-reinforced stable structures. So CEOs, a little bit better than average, but here's.
And so I didn't clarify earlier, but CEOs, it stands for Chief Executive Officers, and really they're the person that's all the way at the top. So the boss's 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 boss.
Where it gets interesting. If you put an executive admin on the team, they get significantly better.
Whereas if you have an executive administrator, which they call admin for short, that's the person who is, I hate to say the assistant, but they help with the plan. So usually the CEO has this plan, this is the vision, this is the goal, and then right under them is a person who says, okay, we need this person, and this person to do this job, and this job in order to get it done. And as we can see in our chart, in our graph, just having that extra person to delegate and to make a plan really helps the height and success of the tower.
It's incredible. You know, you look around, you go, oh, that team's going to, you can just tell beforehand. And why is that? Because they have special skills of facilitation. They manage the process. They understand the process. And any team who manages and pays a close attention to work will significantly improve the team's performance. Specialized skills and facilitation skills, the combination leads to strong success. If you have 10 teams that typically perform, you'll get maybe 6 or so that have standing structures. And I tried something interesting. I thought, let's up the ante once. So I offered a $10,000 prize of software to the winning team. So what do you think happened to these design students? What was the result? Here's what happened.
And my question to you is, why do you think that these teams, when they had the opportunity to win this amount of money or the software value for the money, why do you think they did not have success? So you can take like a few seconds to think about it. You can put your answer in the chat. Or just think about it. You can do some thinking on your own, maybe make some notes. You can share that information in your assignment. Exactly. So they think, oh, wow, there's money involved. I really, really, really need to win. And then all of a sudden, time's up. They don't have a structure. So that's a good point, Eileen. And stress, that can be, yeah, when you get stressed, that's a big deal. Your body reacts, okay. Okay. Your body reacts, your mind reacts, and what do you need to build a structure in collaboration with everybody? You need your mind and your body to work clearly, and they don't have it there. Okay, and if you have an answer and I'm moving on, that's okay. You can still put it in there. We're almost done with the video.
Not one team had a standing structure. Not one had, if anyone had built, say, a 1-inch structure, they'd have taken them the prize. So isn't it interesting that high stakes have a strong impact? We did the exercise again with the same students. What do you think happened then? So now they understand the value of prototyping. Team went from being the very worst to being among the very best. They produced the tallest structures in the least amount of time. So there's deep lessons for us.
So here we have an interesting equation where he's saying incentives are things that make us want to work. So for example, normally when we're in the classroom, if we have perfect attendance, one of your assistant principals might give you a treat if you have perfect attendance. So you think, hey, I want to have perfect attendance so I can have success and have a treat. So that's an incentive. So if you have incentive and low skills, meaning you're not really sure how to do something, how to execute something, then you're really not going to have success. Versus if you have incentive, you have a good goal in mind or a prize, and you know what you're doing, you have the skills or the talent, but you have the capacity to do it, then you're more than likely going to have success.
About the nature of incentives and success. So you might ask, why would anyone actually spend time running a marshmallow challenge? And the reason is I help create digital tools and processes to help teams build cars and video games and visual effects. And what the Marshmallow Challenge does is it helps them identify the hidden assumptions. Because frankly, every project has its own marshmallow, doesn't it? The challenge provides a shared experience, a common language, a common stance to build the right prototype. And so this is the value of the experience of this so simple exercise. And those of you who are interested may want to go to Marshmallow Challenge.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it for there. And right now, this was a challenge that, of course, had marshmallows and spaghetti. But can you, in your mind, think of a different kind of challenge? Like, what else could you do, or what else could you make that would be a challenge out of simple materials that would help
It's a blog
collaborate?
that you can look.
That would help collaborate with the team. Have you maybe done one before in school, or maybe a science class? That might be able to give you an idea if you've already done one in the past. There's also a challenge called the paper table challenge. So with that one, you have to take rolls of newspaper and pieces of cardboard and tape, and you have to make a table that is, I believe, 8 inches high, so about here, and you have to be able to put a heavy book on top, and the table stays upright. So that would definitely be something. It has different materials, and the goal is different, but it's still a challenge where you have to work with a team and see what kind of failures you have, and you work towards success. And any ideas, any questions so far about this? You can go ahead and go into your Schoology right now, and you can take a look at this Marshmallow Challenge assignment or any other assignment from this week. And if you have a question or need help with something, this is your time to ask while I'm here, and I can help you right now in the moment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop recording the meeting since it seems like we're not quite there, but I will keep the meeting open, and we can go ahead and go there. Like I said, if you